Welcome to my studio. My name is Amber Rust. I am the head photographer and owner of Two Color Photography. I want to talk a little bit about the most common mistakes that I see in starting out newborn photographers. A lot of photographers send me their images and ask me what I think they can do to improve the image. So I've compiled the top 5 mistakes that I see that these photographers make. And they're mistakes that we've all made. I've made them. Everybody's made them. So that's why we're going to talk about them. The first thing that I see, probably the very most, is that the baby is wearing a diaper. And even if you're planning on wrapping the baby or the baby's going to wear a little outfit, these diapers come up pretty high. They add a lot of bulk. And sometimes I see photographers place the baby right on the flacati or right on the beanbag stand, wearing the diaper with nothing else. And I've got some images of my own in galleries where the baby's just on the flacati in a diaper. Please take off the diaper. I know the baby's going to pee and I know the baby's going to poop. And you're going to have to wash some fabric, but that's part of the job. That would be like going to a burger joint and they don't cook your meat. Like, that's part of the job, and to do your job the very best, we're gonna take off the diaper. The benefit of this video today is this is not a real baby. So my outfit is going to stay clean and my wraps are going to stay clean, but please take off the diaper. Just adds unnecessary bulk even if you're wrapping the baby. The only time that I do leave the diaper on is if the baby has had a fresh circumcision or pretty recent circumcision. We had one client come straight from the doctor's appointment with just a very raw and tender little circumcision, and we kept the diaper on to avoid any pain for the baby. The other thing that I see so frequently is sloppily wrapped babies. We want the baby to look small and tiny and small in our pictures as the mom remembers them being in her mind. So in 10 years, when she looks at that picture, she wants to say, oh, look how tiny you were. What I see a lot of is newborn photographers wrapping the baby to where I think the baby's probably fidgeting and they just really quickly want to get the baby wrapped, and so they're just throwing that wrap around the best they can and they just don't know what to do, and so they just do this and the draped and then the baby just looks more like a lima bean. Sometimes I see a lot that the baby looks long or just sloppy. If you're going to wrap the baby, watch some of our courses at babyphotoacademy.com. The link to our courses is in the description below the video. We cover 3 different wraps right out from the get-go, and in our Delve Deeper courses, we actually have some other wraps that we'll be adding here and there throughout our course development. Learn to wrap. It is fundamental for a newborn session. Make that baby look curly and tiny and small. The other problem that we see a lot of in newborn photography is lighting the incorrect way. So we're just gonna put baby in our flacati. I've made quite the knot out of this poor baby. Maybe we should have a contest in the comments to name this baby, because I've had her probably 4 years and she still doesn't have a name. Honestly, we still don't even know if she is a girl, because sometimes we put her in the boy props to try things out. We'll see the baby curled up in a pose. I'm gonna get her little arms up there so we can see all of her digits and toes. And then what we see is the light source. I'm gonna move my little chair a tiny bit out of the way. The light source coming up the baby's bum and up the baby's nose. And what happens is we get the shadow from the baby's cute little chubby cheeks underneath their eye sockets. So we end up getting shadow shading under their eyes, shadings above their lips, under their nose, and it's just a really unflattering lighting. So in our newborn courses, please be sure to check back in and we'll talk a lot more about lighting patterns with newborn photography. But all we really need to do is just rotate the baby or move the light so that the baby's head is getting the majority of our light source. And we'll cover more of that in our sections on lighting in our Baby Photo Academy course. Another thing that we see is shooting up the nose. You know, if you've got your camera here and you're taking this image and you're shooting down here like this, we're getting a lot of nostrils, and that's kind of a no-no in newborn photography. So what you want to do is take your camera angle up and above the baby's head a little bit and shoot down the baby's head so that your focus is falling off towards the end of the baby. Nostrils, I mean, babies are adorable little button noses, but a lot of nostril shot is not flattering for a newborn. The other thing that we see a lot of is just sloppy posing. Babies cry, they do. And I think sometimes we get so frustrated with the crying, and I know because I've been there, that we just take a picture of whatever we can get. We shouldn't. We should really take the time to calm the baby, soothe the baby, maybe feed the baby, burp the baby, do whatever we can to calm the baby down so that we can get a really nice pose. I've got a couple poses in my collection that we just call plank baby, which means baby was probably fussing, and this is probably a lot of what the baby looked like. If all we can do, even if baby is a little bit fussy, even just taking a moment to try to turn baby's head a little bit and just try to prop a hand under so the head is not dug clear into the flicati or into the beanbag or into the prop or into whatever, just even that tiny little bit where I tucked the leg and I put the hand under the cheek made all the difference to make it look like I actually had thought out this pose and not just plopped the baby down in a plank position on my posing beanbag or fabric or whatever. So that's a really big one. If you're going to be a newborn photographer, you've got to learn techniques to soothe your baby and techniques to perfect each pose. In our course, we go really deeply into each of these poses. There's a video for every pose that I do, and I walk you through step by step on how to make sure you can get the pose and move the baby quietly and peacefully into another pose so that you're less likely to wake up the baby. And then it just covers all the little perfect little steps you need to take to make sure fingers are shown and toes are posed correctly, and you can get that perfect shot for your parents. Another thing that I hear a lot about, and I don't know that it's something I ever did myself, maybe I'm not patient enough to have this be something that I've done in the past, is the duration of the session. Your newborn session should never be longer than 3 hours. That's a long time for a newborn. And if your baby's crying that whole 3 hours, something's wrong with the baby, because at the age of a newborn, within a 3-hour time span, there should be a moment of sleeping. For a newborn, they sleep all the time. Every once in a while, I'll get a newborn that really wants to be awake the whole 3 hours. And we'll take some awake pictures, we'll do some wrapped pictures, but that session should never take longer than 3 hours. Your mom is tired, your dad is tired, your newborn, it's just not okay to be messing with that baby and have an upset baby for more than 3 hours. If your session is getting close to 3 hours, kindly tell your mom that you think you've gotten everything you can get. And if you feel like you didn't get enough for that gallery, you can even set up another day, and maybe baby will be a little bit more sleepy another day. But please do not push a session longer than 3 hours. So those 5 things are the things that I see the very most in newborn photographers that are just starting out. To learn more, our courses, our videos cover everything that I've just talked about and how to improve on them, how to wrap, how to pose, how to light, and how to soothe a sad baby so that your sessions don't go to 3 hours. We have a link to the Baby Photo Academy courses in our description below. Please subscribe to this channel and like this video. Oh, and also don't forget to click the little bell so that you receive notifications on all of our videos. Thank you for sitting with me for a little bit and talking about some of the mistakes we make as beginning newborn photographers.